The Chat Trap.
Welcome back to the show. Very good morning to you. I am Jamie, and we got Andrea on board as well. Andrea, do you want to wave a big hi to everybody and say good morning to everybody?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Wait, do you sound sleepy? Are you sleepy?
No, but it's like the weather just I don't know. I think the
Oh,
weather
I
just like not
know.
good.
I know it sucks when, like, I hate waking up and then it's like raining or it's gloomy and the whole day feels gloomy, and that truly sucks, huh?
Oh. How is the
Yeah.
weather there?
It's okay. It's always sunny here in Sri Lanka. It's always bright and sunny. But with that being said, we want to say a big hello going out to every single one of you tuning in. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. You know, this is the Chat Trap, and we have some very exciting conversation that we want to have with you. Okay, we want to talk about superheroes, and before you start, yelling at us, and before you get mad at us, I want to tell you that I am a huge superhero fan as well. I love Marvel comics. I love DC comics, and the Avengers for me is something I am obsessed with. But with that being said, we really need to start talking about superheroes. A lot of people say, "Oh, I wish we had superheroes in our today's society," but what me and Andrea are going to do within the next couple of minutes is talk to you and see if superheroes are actually good for us or bad for us. So that's what we're going to try to do within the next couple of minutes. We're going to talk about superheroes, and we want to know what you think. What do you think? You think superheroes, if superheroes lived among us, do you think that would have been a good thing or a bad thing? Make sure that you call us on 07852473473, or if not, it's super easy. All you gotta do is leave a comment down below. Now, if you're listening to us on Facebook or any of our social media platforms, I want to know what you think. Okay, Andrea, we have so many people listening in from different platforms. We have a lot of people listening in from all of our different social media platforms, and we are giving you, if you're listening in, we are giving you the opportunity to voice out your opinion. We're giving you the opportunity to let people know what you think, which is absolutely amazing. So use that opportunity. Maybe comment down below or call us up on 078 and let us know what you think. Now, with that being said, okay, the reason I wanted to have this conversation, Andrea, is because of this TV show called The Boys. Okay, it's this American TV show that is kind of popular. I don't think it's popular for the right reasons, but yeah, it's very controversial and it's very insane because it shows you a whole other side of superheroes. Have you watched this TV series? Have you watched the TV show?
Mm, as you said, I love Marvel and all that stuff. I really like it, but I didn't watch in this, and I
Okay.
can't imagine. Like, I just want to know. Can you tell us a bit about what the boys and all that?
Okay. So The Boys is basically like this subversive comic book adaptation, and it okay. So I'm gonna say this in like plain English. Okay, I'm gonna say it as plainly as I possibly could. And The Boys basically reveal like the ugliness of our obsession with people in capes. Okay, they reveal the ugliness and the stupidity of us being obsessed with superheroes. Okay, so it's basically it's a new series, and it's this Amazon's dark comic superhero drama. The Boys essentially make us reflect and think on what it means to be a superhero, and what, if any, meaning, if being a superhero has any meaning today. Okay, so basically in The Boys, it's adapted from this 2000, like I told you, it's adapted from like a 2000s comic book series of the same name. So basically, the soups, as they call it, that's heroes with superpowers, they're all like twisted derivatives of classic figures. So you have Superman, but you have the crazy Superman in The Boys, right?
Oh,
Like how do I explain it? Like, you have Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman is like very selfish, and the only reason she does good is for her own benefit, and they're all messed up. They're all human beings at the end of the day. Even though they have superhero powers, they're human beings with like ugly desires and ugly motivations and wrong motivations. So they use their powers for their own like self greediness and for their self benefit. So it shows us this, if you watch like Avengers, the End Game, and you see how all of these superheroes want to save the world, and then you watch The Boys, and it shows you that yeah, they are saving the world, but they're doing it for their own gain, and they're doing it for their name, and for themselves to be popular. Right? Does that make sense to you? Does that make you want to watch the
Wow.
TV
Of
series?
course, I'm so interested right now because, as you say, we always was the right, like the good hero, but we never saw that another part, and that's quite
Uh-huh.
interesting because we don't have no clue about that.
Yeah, no, and what's amazing about this TV series, I haven't watched the entire. I watched actually only a few episodes, but the few episodes I watched, it's so funny, Andrea. Like it's hilarious because it's so dumb, and like it's like a what's the word, parody? Like, do you know what parody means? Parody is like, it's like, it just makes fun of superheroes. It makes fun of this. The fact that we human
Yeah.
beings are obsessed with superheroes. So like, yeah, it's definitely a TV series you should watch. It has very like crude language, and it's very like, I would say it's definitely a PG R rated TV show. But if you are in that category, you should most definitely watch it because it gives you a whole different perspective. And that is why, because I watched it, which is why I wanted to talk to you about superheroes. I want to talk to you about, is it if we had superheroes today, would it be more like Avengers Endgame, where they help us to defeat terrorists, where they help us to save lives, or will it be more like The Boys, where where the superheroes use their supernatural powers to kind of exploit the human race and to exploit us to do whatever that's good for them. So basically, giving you a little rundown of what happens in The Boys, Andrea. The boys basically is like a group of human beings without superhero powers that like try to expose these superheroes, right? So basically, they're acting like the superheroes, even though they have no supernatural powers. So they try to expose and they try to show the world that Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman, they're all actually bad for us, and they create violence as opposed to stopping violence. So it's very interesting, and I think people should definitely watch it just to get that different idea of superheroes as a whole. Um, uh,
Wow. I just wow, I just want to watch it. Like you make me so interested about that.
Oh no, I think you definitely should watch it because it's almost like the boys basically, it's like a superhero pest control, and it's so funny because it's really like
Take the another
stupid,
part. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
right?
I
It's like
understand
really
it.
it's so stupid that it's funny. Like I think people should watch it. But yeah, that gives us a better, okay, I know it's funny and I know it's good to watch it in that sense. But I think it also kind of gives us an idea of superheroes as a whole. Like it kind of answers our question as to, it gives us the opposite of like, oh my goodness, superheroes are so great. And it shows us the other side of the um what do I say? Like it shows us the other side of the spectrum. It shows us that maybe superheroes are not great, and maybe if they had supernatural powers, they will use it for their benefit. You know, and I think, Andrea, what do you think? Do you think if superheroes were there today, if we had Batman and Wonder Woman and the Flash, if they were there in today's society, do you think that it would be good, or do you think that it would be
Um,
bad?
for me, it's quite hard to believe that. Like, but I don't know if we like it because you are having a superhero who decides what is good and what is bad. Like, if they decide that it's good to just kill people to save a lot of people's life, I don't know. If you think that something is robbing someone is robbing a bank, they will think, okay, it's right, it's good, don't worry. Like I don't know, I'm not sure about that. What do you think? Because I can't imagine that in real life.
Yeah, no, same. I obviously have my personal opinion, right? But I think what we should do is within the next couple minutes, Andrea, I think we should give people an understanding of both sides. Like, what would it be if superheroes were there? And we'll also talk about what it would be if superheroes, the good and the bad. We'll talk about the both sides. Okay, so within the next couple minutes, if you're listening in, we are going to be talking about the pros of having superheroes in today's day and world in real life, and we'll also talk about the cons of having superheroes in everyday life, and then we'll talk about our opinions. And we want to hear what you think. Do you, having discussed both, and let's like measure what has more pros and what has more cons,
That
and
will be
we'll
fun.
yeah, that will definitely be fun. And I also want to talk about why human beings are so obsessed with superheroes. I kind of want to look into history and give people an understanding of why human beings are so obsessed with superheroes. We will definitely do that when we come back. But right now we're going to head on to a little break. But listen, we have so much interesting things to share with you. So make sure that you tune in, make sure that you listen to us, and make sure that you let us know what you are thinking. With that being said, we're going to head on to a little break, but make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio.
Again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, has how much it's changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense.
They can't accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Or you didn't do very well, and they get upset, And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young. Well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, he might say to me, you had one to forget. That's it.
Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, yeah, that's the real fact of the matter, yeah.
He'd say to me, you had one to forget. Get over it. And that was it. So I dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. An inquest. Me. Why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much a lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because, as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid, I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
Now, there's a lot of conversation around who pays more taxes, if it is the rich or if it is the poor, right? But when you are basically going out and during a day, you go to a restaurant, you have to pay taxes there. You buy a car, you have to pay taxes there. So why is it even a conversation that, the rich pay less taxes or the poor pay more taxes? Why is it a conversation like that?
Because it's true, the rich generally pay less tax. A rich person walks into a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's, they're not going to get a different bill than another person, right? They're still going to pay the same VAT on those goods, they're still going to pay the same thing. So that's all the same. However, the differences come in if you can pay yourself from your own company, you can structure it in a way that you pay less income tax through paying a bit of salary, paying dividends and so forth, and then also deferring income. Also, your pension payments or contributions can be different. So that increases your tax sort of gap, if you want to use it that way. Where a PAYE person, just gets paid salary and bonus. And now those are the most highly taxed sources of income in the UK, definitely, you know, in the UK. We've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? Because in a public company where the stock is traded openly on the stock exchange, the value of that stock is driven by supply and demand, it's driven by emotion, it's driven by news, it's driven by quite a lot of variables over and above the actual accounting or total net worth of that company. I mean, we've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? And the company may still have value, it may still be doing quite a good thing.
To the show and a very good morning to you. Hope you are having yourself an amazing day so far. I am Jamie and we got Andrea on board as well. Can we say a big hi to everybody listening in? Hi. Yourself an amazing day so far. You know, we've had such amazing conversation. Earlier on we were talking about superheroes, and before we get into the next part of that conversation, we want to remind you to be a part of the show. Okay, we genuinely want to know what you are thinking. You know, we are giving you the opportunity to essentially go out there and tell everybody what you're thinking, which is absolutely amazing. We're giving you an incredible opportunity, so make sure that you use that opportunity and call us up on 078-524-73473, or you could very simply comment down below. Okay, if you're listening to us on any of our lives, on any of our social media platforms, you most definitely can just type out a comment. You know, tell me what you're thinking. If you like what we're talking about, or even if you don't like what we're talking about, that's okay. We just want to know what you're thinking. Go right ahead and feel free to get in touch with us. And I also want to remind everybody about our social media. Do you actually want to remind everybody about our social media?
Of course, don't forget to look at us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. TikTok as well. Don't forget that TikTok, that everyone now is using TikTok. And also don't forget to download the app on iOS and Android.
Absolutely. Don't forget to download our app like Andrea just told you, because you can take us with you wherever it is that you go if you download our app. Now, with that being said, I actually want to get into some very interesting conversation, okay? I know if you're listening in, this is why you came. We are talking about superheroes, and I told you earlier on that I am a huge fan. Me and Andrea, actually, both of us are huge fans of superheroes. We love the Avengers. We love DC Comics. And, you know, with that being said, we were talking about the other side of the story. We were talking about what if superheroes were real? What if they walked amongst us? What if Batman and Iron Man and Batman and Iron Man and Wonder Woman. I forgot superheroes for a second. Can you imagine that? I literally have posters all over my bedroom of like all of the Avengers. That's how much I love the Avengers. But going back into the conversation, what we're trying to see is if superheroes actually walked amongst us today, would that be a good thing or a bad thing? You know, would we have more conflict? Would we have more wars, or would we have less wars and terrorists and what would it be? So Andrea and I both have our own personal opinions, but both of us thought that we would share our personal opinions. First, we'll talk about both sides of the story. We'll talk about what the good, the pros of having superheroes, and the negatives or the cons of having superheroes live with us in real life today. Now, before we actually get into that, Andrea, I was wondering, why are human beings so obsessed with superheroes?
I know. I always ask that, but I think that is that we have this idea of a perfect guy or perfect woman,
Oh,
like with that Greek god body, with that mentality. I know, because if you look at superheroes, they look like wow, like so strong and like oh my god, no.
no, girl, you are perfect the way you are. No, but going back to it, I was also wondering like why are human beings so obsessed with superheroes? Did you know that the most watched movies in the world are like Avenger movies and movies like Avatar based on like superhero powers and superhero, whatever related to the supernatural, human beings will love it. And it's not something that's new, okay? It's something that has been with us for a long time. If you look wherever in the world, geographically or historically, it seems that people have always been obsessed with heroes and gods and all of these supernatural beings, okay? If you choose any ancient body of folklore, we have Beowulf, the Mahabharata, the story of Gilgamesh, the legends of Monkey King, Icelandic sagas, the Greek epics, like you said, even the Bible and even Shintoism, you are going to find heroes. You're going to find Goliath. That's just because I know the Bible, but you are going to find superheroes in all of this folklore. In your culture, I'm very curious, Andrea. In your culture, do you have like superheroes or men or women, which is very rare, by the way? Do you have men with superpowers, or they saved humankind? Is that like a thing with your culture?
In my culture, like in Spain, I'm not sure. In Latin America, I don't think so. So I think that superheroes is more about the US and the UK. I'm not sure, like on another countries, but what I most hear is about those two countries.
No. Okay, so I completely agree. Yeah, superheroes is more of like a European, US, UK thing. No, but this idea of supernatural has been there with us from like ancient times. Like the Indians believed in like the Monkey King, and he was this guy that helped. He had like a monkey face, and he believed that he helped the people come to Sri Lanka. It's like a whole story. And then we have with like the Native Americans, they had like gods, and they believed in like
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
sun being like a superhero. Then we have the Aztec civilization. The Aztecs had so many gods and so many superheroes. Whatever civilization or geographically or historically you look, people, no matter where they're from, people have always had like an obsession with gods and heroes and supernatural powers.
Yeah.
I remember this story. I think it was in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, like the Aztec civilization, the early Mexicans. They believed that if there was somebody that was born with like an extra arm or something, they believed that was like a reincarnation of like an Aztec god or something like that.
Oh
So they
yeah.
always believed in like supernatural powers. People were always obsessed with supernatural beings and supernatural powers. And now we understood that it's not a new thing. We understood that the superheroes, even though now we have movies about it, long time ago, billions of years ago, people had like drawn on caves. They worshipped these superheroes. But why do you think that is? I think, like you said, people, they realized that they can't fly. So they in their minds, they created
Yeah.
somebody that can fly.
Definitely. Now that you mention all that stuff, yeah, I think I completely agree, because in Latin America, like my family from there, they always believe in like the Pachamama or something like that. That is like different kind of gods that helps you, like when you like if it's raining, there is a god that make raining and all that stuff.
Right,
But
right,
not
right, right.
like that in Spain, like they just in Jesus and all that stuff. But yeah, I completely agree. And I think that because we're obsessed into trying to find the perfection as well, we can say that we have beauty standards that are like kind of a superhero, because we're just waiting a kind of person dressed like this. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at all of these superheroes, any superhero actually, they're all like muscular and they have something that we don't have. And I feel like the reason why people became so obsessed with gods and with superheroes is almost like a hope thing. Like like how do I say this? Like, okay, if there were so many floods or whatever, they believe that there's a God out there who can control the floods because we couldn't control it ourselves. So they would pray and make sacrifices to the gods. I'm going to use Aztec civilization because I love the Aztec civilization, and they used to sacrifice human beings to like make the god of death happy, like or rather for like the god of the sun or whatever, it's like a whole story. But they would do that because they thought they didn't have the power to control the sunrise, they didn't have power to control death, so they imagined people with that power. It's because human beings always, like you said, human beings always found imperfections in themselves. And they created in their imagination or in their stories and their cultural stories or whatever, we kind of created people or we created gods that didn't have these imperfections.
Yeah, like it's completely true because if you look in the Greek history, we found gods of everything: Athena, Thanos. Oh my god, I don't remember right now, but they have too much, and they always have like an specifics for something, like just Athena, as we said, the god of the love and Cupido and all that stuff. Like, it's quite related, as you're saying.
Absolutely. So basically, humans created all of this because one thing, it's hope. They couldn't. Natural disasters. They couldn't take care of natural disasters, so they created gods to give them some sort of hope, saying, oh, if we pray or if we worship these heroes or gods or whatever it is, we can kind of get like a sense of satisfaction. We can get a sense of hope. And I think that's one thing, that's one reason that people are so obsessed with superheroes. They're like everything that we can't be, everything that we wish we were. We wish we could fly, we wish we had supernatural strength, we wish we could stretch ourselves to do whatever, we wish we could save people.
And we can see that obsession in different things, like in games. My brother plays some different games related to that. We can see in comics, or even Halloween, people like to dress it as a god and all that stuff.
Absolutely, it's because they want that moment to be like, oh, I can do something that nobody else can. I have the power to fly. I have the power to be strong. I have the power to see things other people can't see. And it's people are so obsessed with things that they can't have. And I think that's why I'm saying they, but I'm included as well. I think that's why we're all so obsessed with like the supernatural. We're so obsessed with superheroes and gods and all of that. But with that being said, when we come back, let's talk about the pros and cons. But I think, Andrea, we need to head on off to a little break. But I want to remind everybody to make sure that they keep it tuned right here on Relaks Radio.
Climb Mount Everest. That is that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
They're talking about mental health. Well, if you went out and got some exercise in the fresh air, that would improve your mental health. It will make you feel better.
That's true. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. But then for some people, it's how do you find the motivation to, especially when it comes to riding a bicycle, to do it again and again and again and again? It's a cycle that you have to be used to. How do you do it? What makes you wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to pick my bike up today. I'm going to cycle. What makes you want to do that?
What makes me want to do that?
Yeah. What do you like? What could you give listeners, like people listening in right now? What kind of tip could you give them?
Well, the first tip I would give them, if you haven't tried it before, try it. It can open up new horizons. It will make you fitter. It will definitely make you fitter. Cycling is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise you can do.
It sounds like, I mean, if you think about it, it sounds like great fun. Because what essentially you're trying to say is also at the same time, when you, if you look at it from this perspective, with regards to mental health, especially when you look at it with mental health, this is another way to fight it. I feel like you go outside, you meet more people, you interact with, socially, you will interact with more people, and you're keeping fit, you're making connections, you're breathing in the good and exhaling the bad. I feel like that's a great thing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, You got a better way with words than I have, I'll tell you. But you're quite right. What you say there, you're quite
I mean,
right.
I've been doing this for quite some time. I mean, hey, you'll get the hang of it.
I've been doing it for about 10 minutes now, so yeah.
That I can never really understand people staying in one room the whole day when you can have the world to see. I am a traveler. I travel. I love traveling. Traveling is just one of the things I do. And yeah, on top of my bucket list was, to one time, hopefully when I get there, go to Nepal and climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
Base camp, yeah.
At least.
Would you be able to cycle there?
Oh.
Now, there's a lot of conversation around who pays more taxes, if it is the rich or if it is the poor, right? When you are basically going out and during a day, you go to a restaurant, you have to pay taxes there. If you buy a car, you have to pay taxes there. So why is it even a conversation that, the rich pay less taxes or the poor pay more taxes? Why is it a conversation like that?
Because it's true, the rich generally pay less tax. A rich person walks into a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's, they're not going to get a different bill than another person, right? They're still going to pay the same VAT on those goods, they're still going to pay the same thing. So that's all the same. However, the differences come in if you can pay yourself from your own company, you can structure it in a way that you pay less income tax through paying a bit of salary, paying dividends and so forth, and then also deferring income. Also, your pension payments or contributions can be different. So that increases your tax sort of gap, if you want to use it that way. Where a PAYE person just gets paid salary and bonus. And now those are the most highly taxed sources of income in the UK, definitely, in the UK. We've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? Because in a public company where the stock is traded openly on the stock exchange, the value of that stock is driven by supply and demand, it's driven by emotion, it's driven by news, it's driven by quite a lot of variables over and above the actual accounting or total net worth of that company. I mean, we've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? And the company may still have value, it may still be doing quite a good thing.
The Chat Trap.
Welcome back to the show. This is, of course, the Chat Trap on Relaks Radio. How are you? Hope you are having yourself an amazing day so far. We've been talking about something very interesting, actually. Andrea and I have been talking about something very interesting. We were talking about superheroes earlier on, okay? And we want to know what you think about superheroes. We want to know if you think having superheroes in today's day and age is a good thing or a bad thing. If we had superheroes walk amongst us today, wearing a cape with supernatural powers, do you think that it would be a good thing or do you think that it would be a bad thing? We want to know what you're thinking, so go right ahead and call us up on 07852 473 473 or make sure that you leave a comment down below if you're listening to us on any of our social media platforms. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about the pros and cons. Now, Andrea and I promised that we are going to talk to you about the pros of having superheroes, and we also are going to talk about the negative impacts of having superheroes. And I think, Andrea, the first pro or the first good thing if superheroes were real is that, we won't have, especially when it comes to terrorist organizations. Okay, if we take the ISIL or the IS, Islamic State, for example, or if we take the Boko Haram, whatever is terrorist organization it is, I think it'll be so much easier for governments to fight off terrorists if we had superheroes, right? Like,
I mean,
do
if
you
they have
agree?
the superpower, maybe good, because if they are like normal as us, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. See, it's two different sides, right? If you
Yeah, I think
okay,
that I'm more the opposite side than you.
no, it's okay. I This is not what I agree. Okay, this is just like points that I want to give everybody listening in with regards to just the good and the bad of superheroes. So this is not what I personally agree or think about. This is not what I agree with. This is just facts. Okay, what majority of the people think would be good if we had superheroes, and a lot of people say, yeah, we'd have less wars. Now, I want to talk about the other side of it. Do you actually think we'd have less wars if Superman was real? If Batman, Wonder Woman was real? Do you think we'd have less wars? Because I don't think so, right? If you watch all of these superhero movies, the reason they fight is because of another superpower. Does that make sense to you?
That's a
Like,
really good point to you. That's a really good
right?
point because they have
Like,
an enemy, and as a human, we don't know how to react with someone that we don't like to. We just don't want something good for them. So when they try to repair that, they always destroy the planet. You can see like buildings going down and all that stuff.
so what you mean is, at the end of the day, if superheroes were real, there'd be a lot more destruction and violence because superheroes themselves would be fighting each other. Like, if you see every superhero movie, there is some negative superhero force that these superheroes are trying to fight. So what if we don't have superheroes altogether? Then we won't have any problems that require superhero presence or whatever, right? Now, okay, with that being said, I also want to talk about how having superheroes can like undermine the police or like the justice system, right? Because right now we have like a system of how it works, right? We have, okay, so if you do wrong, the police will do something to you, but if you have superpowers and if you are so much stronger than the police or like whatever, or the forces or whatever, how can we, if you do something wrong, if the superhero does something wrong, how do we hold them accountable? How do we say, oh, look, what you did was wrong? Can we put them in prison? No, because they probably can escape prison super easy. What so do they have, like, they can do whatever they want, they can murder, they can do bad, but how are we going to hold them accountable? Which is a problem I have, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like if they do something, what are we gonna do? Like they supposing to be the good person, like they're looking the good for the world, but then if they do something wrong, what's gonna be like that issue that we can resolve? Because so like if we have right now, like half of the planet is gonna be okay, he did something good, and half of the another planet was gonna say like, oh, he's bad. We need to take him like away from this. So it's so controversial.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, I have, if somebody says something good about superheroes, I have something bad to say to that as well. Like, it could go both ways. Ow. I just hit my head really hard. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is it could go both ways, everything good that we could, if we had Superman today. uh oh my goodness, I just thought of something very interesting, Andrea. You know how nuclear weapon, okay, nuclear weapons, like what happened at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the nuclear bomb that went off, okay. So the reason why we have so much destruction is because somebody created the nuclear bomb, because somebody created nuclear weapons. But what if we don't have the nuclear weapons altogether? Then we won't have any harm from it, right? Because now, see, one country uses nuclear weapons and the other country uses another nuclear bomb to get to like scare the other country, and it's all just like a war for power. And together the same thing could be the case when we have superheroes.
Yeah, like a big competition that we don't know how it's gonna end.
Exactly. And countries are going to want to, like, okay, I'm gonna just say this out loud, but like the US is going to want the most powerful superhero to be the US superhero, and then another country is going to say, no, we want this superhero to be a part of our government. And you know how governments have like wars against each other, so the superheroes are basically going to have to do like, if the government says we don't want this country or the planet anymore, the superhero has to go destroy it. So like it's just
Yeah.
so much complication if superheroes are real, huh?
Like, so messy to think about it because, as we know, like in China and Russia, America and United Kingdom are like quite different. Most of them think similar, but very different at the same time. So imagine if they just decided to create a superhero by themselves. How is gonna end?
Absolutely, like we don't know, we don't. It's just scary to think about it. And I was talking about terrorist organizations, and I said how superheroes can actually help, get rid of terrorists. But what if the superhero just decides that, oh no, I agree with the terrorist organization. I want to be a part of this terrorist organization. And what if they go and decide to join this terrorist organization? Then what happens to like I feel like that's just going to be so much more violence. That's going to be so much more problems if superheroes were real. And I think that's my personal opinion. Now that we looked at the both of the sides, I feel like my personal opinion is that superheroes can actually be bad first. If they were real, we could have a lot more wars. We could have a lot more violence. We could have a lot more terror.
Yeah.
There's going to be indiscipline, right? And superheroes are humans. Okay, they are superheroes. Basically, are humans with like some extraordinary
Superpowers.
power.
Yeah.
So,
But
like how
the point is like if we choose like someone like they are human as you are saying. So as a person, like we when we are mad or crazy, we just do crazy things as well. So if they get mad by a I don't know by a fight, how they are gonna react with that? Like maybe they want to destroy everything, either if they were saying like supposing to be saying a good person.
Absolutely, yeah. Superheroes are humans as well. So if Batman or Iron Man was real, and say Iron Man got mad or Iron Man couldn't control his emotions, and he went off at everybody, who is going to hold him accountable is the other question. And yeah, they're human beings. They have emotions. They have feelings. They are going to work for their personal glory as opposed to for the betterment of the society. And that's the other thing, right? What these superheroes think is good for us is probably might not be what's actually good for us. So it's very like you said, it's very controversial. It's very
Like we need
what
to debate this, but in a long time because I know that so many people maybe that are watching have another opinion. Like maybe they can help us in this area and this area. I completely understand. But we need to look at the both sides because as humans we have issues and we went crazy with that. And we are happy as well. When we are happy, we don't know what to do with that happiness. So we need to look for someone with a good mental health. And either if you have a good mental health, you always react different to something that you don't expect it.
Absolutely, yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think, what's your final opinion? My final opinion is that I think the world is good as it is. We don't need
Yeah,
superheroes.
same,
We don't
same. Because
need.
we have the government and there are so many people thinking, so we have different opinions. And if we have a superhero, it's just one person opinion about everything.
Yeah, like I think we're good. We don't need.
Eh,
It's like having a new weapon. Like nuclear bombs was a weapon that already caused us so much trouble. Just having superheroes, if superheroes were real, it's like having a whole new weapon. People can use it for good and for bad, and the fact that they can use it for bad is what kind of scares me, and why I have come to a conclusion that I actually don't think superheroes in real life would be a good story or would be a good thing. I would love to see some like really buff, strong man with a
Go to
cape
the gym.
roaring. I mean, yeah, it would be amazing to go to the gym with like Superman or Spider-Man or Iron Man. But yeah, I think the costs outweigh the benefits, and yeah, the human beings just
Yeah,
don't
I
need.
completely agree. I don't think that we need a superhero. Like we are okay with the government. I know that they sometimes people don't agree with them, but they try to do the best for their countries.
Absolutely. Now, with that being said, we want to know what you are thinking. Do you agree with us? Do you agree with Andrea and I when we say that the world is better off without superheroes? Or what do you think? Do you actually think that superheroes would help us alleviate the problems of the world, like hunger and poverty and even civil wars that are going around in the world? What do you think? We would absolutely love to know. Go right ahead. Call us up on 07852473473 and make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. With that being said, we're going to head on over to a little break, but make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio.
Now, there's a lot of conversation around who pays more taxes, if it is the rich or if it is the poor, right? But when you are basically going out and during a day, you go to a restaurant, you have to pay taxes there. You buy a car, you have to pay taxes there. So why is it even a conversation that, the rich pay less taxes or the poor pay more taxes? Why is it a conversation like that?
Because it's true that the rich generally pay less tax. A rich person walks into a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's, they're not going to get a different bill than another person, right? They're still going to pay the same VAT on those goods. They're still going to pay the same thing. So that's all the same. However, the differences come in if you can pay yourself from your own company, you can structure it in a way that you pay less income tax through paying a bit of salary, paying dividends and so forth, and then also deferring income. Also, your pension payments or contributions can be different. So that increases your tax sort of gap, if you want to use it that way. Where a PAYE person just gets paid salary and bonus. And now those are the most highly taxed sources of income in the UK, definitely, in the UK. We've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? Because in a public company where the stock is traded openly on the stock exchange, the value of that stock is driven by supply and demand, it's driven by emotion, it's driven by news, it's driven by quite a lot of variables over and above the actual accounting or total net worth of that company. I mean, we've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? And the company may still have value, it may still be doing quite a good thing.
The Chat Trap.
Hi there, and welcome back to the show. It's definitely such a pleasure to have you on board. I don't know why we keep having technical difficulties today, but thank you so much for being a part of the show. It's definitely such a pleasure for me to have you on board, and I know Andrea feels the same way as well. So thank you so very much for being part of the show. Thank you for letting us know what's going on. Thank you for connecting with us and just letting us know, because for us that's nothing more important than you.
Thank you so much for having us, because we really enjoy to have this debate and have people's opinions, because we enjoy, at least I really enjoy to listen to your opinions, because I think that can help and can help people as well if they maybe are confused about this or have another opinion.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you as well. It can help a lot of people out there. If we're giving you the opportunity to use your voice, we're giving you the opportunity to voice out your thoughts and opinions. So make sure that you use that opportunity and call us up on 07852473473 or leave a comment down below if you're listening to us on any of our social media. Now, with that being said, before we get on into the conversation, I also want to remind you that we are giving you some really, really good content on our social media. That is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. We're dancing away if you want to see us dance. And if you want to see us do some crazy fun stuff, make sure that you go show us some love on our social media. Now, with that being said, Andrea, I have a question for you.
Go for it.
Are you a fan of films? Do you love movies, or are you more of a book, book person? What is it?
I'm studying media. I don't know if can you have an idea about that?
Yeah, definitely.
Media. So I'm just starting to make films, the production, pre-production, and all that stuff. So of course, I do love films, but I prefer most of the time documentaries. What about you?
I love documentaries as well. Okay, so for me, films, I have a really busy life. For me, it's college and work, and it's just a lot of things at the same time going on. And I feel like movies and films kind of help me to sit back and just breathe a little. It's like how I turn off. It's like how I recharge almost. And I think you're going to laugh at me for saying this, but my absolute, can you guess my favorite genre of documentary or TV show?
Romance.
What do you think? Sorry?
Romance.
No,
Horror.
Do not. Yes, horror. I like
Oh,
true
no.
crime documentaries. So I love horror. For me, the perfect date night would be an amazing horror movie with a bowl of popcorn. There is nothing.
Oh
more-
my god. No, the last one that I like is horror. I get so scared. I don't know why people do like horror, because they like to film inside them scared about something. I said, no, I don't even want to watch during the day. No.
I
get scared.
love to my favorite thing to do is my dad absolutely loves horror as well. So both of us at 12 o'clock in the night, midnight, we turn off all of the lights, and we love to watch horror because it kind of makes you feel something inside. And for me, horror is the best genre of
I will
film. And I
never.
know okay.
Yeah.
So to be fair, I know that there are a lot of people that are going oh my gosh, Jamie is crazy. Other than horror, I also love to watch true crime documentaries, murder mysteries, and just crime documentaries are one of my favorite things to watch. And I think it's because it kind of makes me feel something inside, and that's just amazing for me. Before we move on to the conversation, actually, I want to say a big hello going out to everybody listening in. We got Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hi, Mike. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. They are listening in from Canada. Ooh,
Wow, Canada. I would love to go there. So amazing.
Same, I know it's always cold though. So, Mike, we want you to tell us what you think. Do you think Canada? How is Canada actually? Is it cold? How is everything going with you? Because for me and Andrea, everything is going perfectly. We are so glad it's Friday. We are so excited for the weekend, and yeah, we're just excited about life, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would like to know, how are you in Canada? Because I don't have too much idea about Canada, but I just look pictures at it, and it's, oh my god. Yeah, just say just enjoy our weekend.
Yeah, that's so true. Now, going back to the conversation we were having with regards to films and movies, and what kind of films you like to watch. Before we get into that, I want to know, what do you like to watch? What kind of genre do you like to watch? What kind of films do you like to watch? And Andrea, what I want to do is, within the next couple of minutes, is to update everybody about the films that came out this month. I did this a few days back, I think. But yeah, I think it's important to remind everybody of new films that are out there. And I watched a few of these, and some were amazing, but some are just that's great.
Yeah,
You watched
absolutely. Yeah, we. Sorry,
Lucifer? It's a Netflix show. Have you
Lucifer.
heard of- Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I feel like everybody was hyped up. No, it's okay, because I'm gonna say something that people are going to hate me for. So I know that people were super excited about the new season. So the new season came out last month, or a few months back actually, and people were so excited about it. But I just got to watching it a few days back, and I hated it. It was so bad.
Oh, really? Why?
it was like, I don't know, when I thought Lucifer would be more action thriller, but this had like music, and there were musicals and people would just break out into song, and I'm just like, really? That's not where I was watching.
I know, I know. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for Money Heist and Elite. I think that Elite is now. Yeah.
Yeah, Money Heist, the last episode was such a cliffhanger. Like,
Yeah,
you're just like,
because one of my best genres to watch is drama, and I get
oh,
like, "Ugh, I just want to know what's gonna happen." So I'm same as you. When you were waiting for Lucifer, I never watched it out, but I saw like the posters and all that stuff, and look, it's really good, like really interesting to watch it.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't like it, but I'm sure you could have loved it as well. So, you know what? I just want to know what you are thinking. I want to know if you like it. What is your favorite genre of movie? With that being said, we are going to be talking about the 10 films that you should watch this June. I think we spoke of some of these films, but we'll get to it in a bit. We have Mike still listening in. Mike is saying that Canada isn't always cold. Okay, so Andrea, that's why you and I were wrong. I thought it's really, really cold in Canada all the time. But according to Mike, between October and May, it is cold. And yeah, there's like, oh my goodness.
It's not that cold. What? Minus 14 degrees is not cold. I'm dying with 20 degrees. Oh my god.
Okay, so what he's saying is it's not always cold, but between October and May, which is quite a long time, it's minus 40 degrees. Trust me, the AC in the studio is on minus 16, and I am not minus 16. No, what am I saying? It's 16 degrees Celsius, and I am freezing. So I don't know how you handle negative 40 degrees Celsius temperature, but wow, that's insane. I would like to experience it though. I would like to come and see what it's like. He says that it's 35 degrees Celsius today in Canada, and it's September and until September rather. And he says it's very nice temperature. I'm so glad you are enjoying. I wanna, because it's all this so cold. Might maybe go outside. I know
Yeah.
Canada is a country.
And
and I
I'm
know that-
completely surprised because how is the body get used to minus 14 to 30, 35 degrees? Like, it's so too much
Right?
change for the body.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like hot one day, and then like between October and May, at least according to Mike, it's like really, really cold. And that cold, I don't think I can ever handle. So kudos to you, Mike. Kudos to all Canadians for being able to handle.
We
the
would like
cold.
to hear this, of course.
Oh yeah, and I know Canada is beautiful. So yeah, if it's 35 degrees today, make sure that you go outside. Make sure that you know. It's beautiful outside. Just make use of the temperature, because now in the UK it's kind of gloomy. It's kind of dark and whatever. But at least go outside. Just experience the beauty of the outdoors. Because for me, I know Andrea, you like to be outdoors as well. For me, something that I absolutely love to do is to have a walk early in the morning, and it's like a whole different sensation, you get
Yeah,
to
all
feel like
different mood. Yeah, I just try to do as you said, to walk in the mornings, and I couldn't notice the difference because it's like so different to just walking during the evening to during the morning.
yeah, absolutely.
You feel fresh
Uh,
air.
Fresh air, goodness, yeah, I love. No, I feel like when you go outside in the morning, it's like a whole different vibe. The smells are different. People are just so much in a better mood as opposed to later in the day. And I absolutely love to see people smiling, and I absolutely love to just take in the morning air. And it makes you more productive, in my opinion. So if you're somebody that loves to, okay. With that being said, I also want to tell you that I am a person that loves to stay in. Like I can sleep till 12 in the afternoon if possible, but I force myself to wake up in the morning. Andrea, don't look at me like that. I know you like to wake up like 5. Y'all, do you know that Andrea wakes up at 5 a.m. every single day? I cannot. That is not something
I know the first time for me was quite hard. I didn't start at one day 8 and then 5. No, I just went 30 minutes before, and now I just get used to that. Of course, I get lazy. I say I don't want to go to the gym, but then I can't go back to sleep. I say, oh my god, I'm not going to the gym. Okay, go and just then get ready and all that stuff. But also, like when I'm lazy, I just go to sleep, but my body can't go to sleep until 10 a.m. My body just can't go to sleep until 8 a.m. And I'm the older of my friend. Like they just told me older because I'm the youngest by age, but by mind it's like, oh no.
And I know you sleep really early, so I think that's also another trick to waking up early. You sleep early, and that just helps. It just helps you to wake up early as well. Now, with that being said, I want to again thank Mike. Oh, he says that. He said something really funny. Actually, we were talking about Mike. Actually, told us that he's from Canada, and he was saying that it gets up to a negative 40 degrees Celsius in Canada, and he says they are wild animals to be able to like switch from 35 degrees Celsius to a negative 40. So yeah, kudos to all Canadians, and thank you so much. You take care too, Mike.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you that you talking with us because we have fun. We have so much fun.
Yeah, and if you want to share your thoughts and opinions, we've had such amazing conversations so far. We couldn't talk about the movies as of yet, but we will be back in a couple of minutes, and we want to talk to you about some of the most amazing films that came out this June for you to watch in the UK, the US, and around the world as well. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relaks Radio. Make sure that you leave us a comment, okay? Because for Amra and I, what's most important is you. We want to know what you think. We've had such diverse conversation. We've spoken about superheroes. We asked you your opinion on superheroes. We asked you if you think superheroes would be a good idea or a bad idea if they lived amongst us. We want to know what you're thinking. Make sure that you leave a comment down below. And, we were talking about weather. We went from superheroes and films to, like, weather. And we shared.
That's so funny. I really like it. That change, like, whoa. Oh, my God. So funny.
Like Canada's weather. That's how we change conversations. You know what? We'll be back in a couple of minutes, so make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relaks Radio.
Now, there's a lot of conversation around who pays more taxes, if it is the rich or if it is the poor, right? But when you are basically going out and during a day, you go to a restaurant, you have to pay taxes there. If you buy a car, you have to pay taxes there. So why is it even a conversation that, the rich pay less taxes or the poor pay more taxes? Why is it a conversation like that?
Because it's true that the rich generally pay less tax. A rich person walks into a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's, they're not going to get a different bill than another person, right? They're still going to pay the same VAT on those goods. They're still going to pay the same thing. So that's all the same. However, the differences come in if you can pay yourself from your own company, you can structure it in a way that you pay less income tax through paying a bit of salary, paying dividends, and so forth. And then also deferring income. Also, your pension payments or contributions can be different. So that increases your tax sort of gap, if you want to use it that way. Where a PAYE person just gets paid salary and bonus. And now those are the most highly taxed sources of income in the UK, definitely, in the UK. We've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? Because in a public company where the stock is traded openly on the stock exchange, the value of that stock is driven by supply and demand, it's driven by emotion, it's driven by news, it's driven by quite a lot of variables over and above the actual accounting or total net worth of that company. I mean, we've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? And the company may still have value, it may still be doing quite a good thing.
But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, has how much has changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense. They can't
accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Or you didn't do very well. And they get upset, And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young. Well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, he'd say to me, "You had one to forget." That's it.
Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, yeah, that's the real fact of the matter, yeah.
He'd say to me, "You had one to forget. Get over it." And that was it. So I dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much a lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because, as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid. I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
The Chat Trap.
Welcome back to the show. A very good morning to you. How are you? How are you doing so far? How is your Friday going so far? I know it's not the perfect weather outside if you're living in the UK, or if you're living somewhere else. Just remember that it's Friday, and I think that in itself should make you really happy and should make you excited. The fact that it's Friday and you get 2 days of holiday to reset, recharge, and I want you to use those 2 days in a way that you can actually become better. Just because everybody gets tired sometimes. And Andrea, I've spoken about overworking. I know a lot of people think that, hustling is the word that younger people use, and it's always good to work 24/7 and just barely get any sleep and work. But we want to tell you that that's not always good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to rest and it's good to do productive. So you just need to find the balance between those two.
Absolutely, that balance is what's most important. You need to find a balance between work and life. It's not good to work all the time. Don't overwork yourself, because that's going to result in very negative impacts on your life and on yourself as well. But also make sure that you're not lazy all the time. Make sure that you do some work, because you need to be productive. Your brain needs some, just like your body, your brain needs to function as well. Now, with that being said, we want you to be a part of the show. Andrea, do you want to tell them how they can be the part of the show and they can join us and let us know what's going on?
Of course, we would like to hear you guys by Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, or just simply by downloading the app and just looking at different sessions that we have and comment down below, and we would like to hear, like Mike he said before, just come and try to talk with us a bit.
Absolutely. We just had amazing conversation with somebody called Mike, and he was all the way from Canada, and he told us how cold it is or whatnot. And if you want to share with us your personal experiences, listen, we have a lot of people listening in, okay? We have people listening in on different social media platforms, on our app. And if you want to use this platform as a method, or as a platform rather, to share your thoughts, to share your opinions, please do feel free to do that. Feel free to share your opinions, because if it's going to help somebody else, I think that's what matters the most, for you to be able to help somebody else with your thoughts and your opinions. If you can do that, it's absolutely amazing. And that's what we are giving you. We're giving you that opportunity. We're giving you the chance to be able to reach out to people around you. So make sure that you tune in, make sure that you call us, make sure that you comment down below. Now, with that being said, Andrea, I think earlier on we promised everybody that we'll talk about a few movies that were released in June. I think.
Yeah.
Do you know any of?
I think that one of the most that I looking in all the tubes, the underground and all that stuff, was Fast and Furious 9.
Oh,
It
right.
promised a lot.
I mean, okay, I feel like Fast and Furious 9 kind of, or Fast and Furious in general, like the entire, the whole thing of Fast and Furious, it kind of defines the 21st century, okay? Because this series, mind you, it began 20 years ago with like this modest thriller, and it has morphed into something that's amazing today. And I think it with you said you study media, right? And I think with like the changes in cinema, Fast and
Yeah.
Furious have changed as well. And yeah, Fast and
Absolutely.
Furious is amazing.
We can see a pretty big evolution of everything. We can see like the editing, the production, the cameras, because when they start, we also like the people as well. We can see how they develop in like in these 20 years, like how much they change it, their styles, and all, and I think that's really good and funny to look at it, because we learn how it was, and we can remember like how it was in the first time of the 21st century to look like how people dress it and how people dress it right now.
Absolutely, like when you watch the first Fast and Furious movie, like that, the way people spoke to how they dressed is also different, and it kind of gives us an idea of the early 2000s. And yeah, that's amazing. So the first one came, I think, in the year 2000, so it gives us a little idea, and I absolutely love that. The fact that Fast and Furious, it kind of defines the 21st century. Do you agree with us? Do you think that the new movie Fast and Furious defines the 21st century? Go ahead, let us know. You could always call us on 07852473473. Now, with that being said, like you said, yeah, definitely Fast and Furious. I mean, Paul Walker. Paul Walker used to be my childhood like celebrity crush.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to be obsessed with Paul Walker. Like, he's next level good looking. That's what like the 12-year-old me thought. I watched the Fast and Furious movies really young, and I fell in love with Paul Walker. His acting, he's just like persona, the big shirts and like the nice hair. Absolutely. I know, like Paul Walker is next level. With that being said, what are a few other movies that have come out this June? Obviously, Fast and Furious, Vin Diesel, it's amazing. It's a blockbuster. I want to know what you think. So if I haven't actually watched it yet, so if you have watched it, let us know what you think. Now, the other one is called In the Heights. Have you heard about this, Andrea?
I didn't hear about this, but the title sounds quite interesting. In the Hive.
So, sorry?
I didn't hear about this one, but I mean, if you listen at the title In the Heights, it's like quite interesting.
Exactly. I know. And so that's the reason the title in itself is, I was just like, oh, what is this movie about? Like, I want to see. And did you know that it was not actually just a movie? It's a musical, okay? So it's about like this immigrant life basically in New York City, and it's very it's a lot of music, it's a lot of dancing, and it's supposed to. I think it released on the 11th of June in UK, US, Canada, and Ireland as well. And yeah, it's definitely like a musical. It's beautiful because there's dancing and there's music, and it shows us the cultures of these immigrants, which I think is amazing, and that I can't actually wait to watch it. It's definitely something that I'm going to watch just because I want to learn what is it like to be an immigrant in New York. What is life like, and that curiosity is what makes me want to watch it. And I think that's what should. That's what's amazing about movies. You get to learn about somebody else's life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that another one with a good title is Dream Horse. And
Oh my
it's not that
gosh.
related with the title because we can see that it's talking about business and all that stuff.
Oh, really? I didn't know that actually because I've heard of Dream Horse. I saw some Twitter hullabaloo with regards to this new movie. I think it came out. I think it came out in like the beginning of the month, and I know that a lot of people loved it. It's what does it? Have you watched it? What does it have to do with business?
I
No.
haven't watched it, but as is released now, I think that I'm gonna watch it. And you?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said before, that's what's absolutely amazing about movies. It kind of allows you to like transport you into like this different universe. It lets you see the world from somebody else's eyes. Now, earlier on, we were talking about superheroes as well, and I think the reason that there's so many superhero movies is because people want to know what it's like to live the life of a superhero. Right?
Yeah, that's
Like,
true. Like we want to imagine, like if we don't have any clue, we just want to know more about something that we don't know.
right, like we want to know, okay, we can't fly, but what if a person can fly? And that's why we have so many superhero movies, and it just like connects back into what we were talking about. But listen, we want to know what you think. We had so many people text us and let us know what they're thinking, and we want to know what you're thinking as well. We were talking about superheroes earlier on. What are your thoughts on superheroes? Do you think that they are necessary? Do you think that it would be good if they were in our society and lived amongst us? Andrea and I both agreed that we don't really want
Yeah,
superheroes.
we agree in that thing that we are all right now. We don't
Ye-
need something
Like,
else.
yeah, we're good. We're good. We don't need superheroes. Both of us agree, but of course, you can have a different opinion. You can be thinking, you could have a different idea, and that's okay. We just want to know why. We want to know what you're thinking. So go right ahead, call us up on 07852473473, or you can always just, comment down below or check us out on our social media. Now, okay, let's talk about other movies that came out in June. Fast and Furious, we spoke about. Dream Horse, we spoke about. In the Heights, we spoke about. And the other thing that I want to talk about is fatherhood. Um,
Motherhood.
I've heard from so many people, and I'm not even exaggerating, okay? I heard from so many people that Fatherhood was actually a really, really good movie. So it stars Kevin Hart. Do you know who Kevin Hart is? Yeah. So Fatherhood stars Kevin Hart, and it's about his wife died. The actors, the wife died, or rather the movie protagonist, the wife dies, and then he has to take care of the daughter, and it's a story about becoming a single father, and it's apparently really heartwarming, and it's really beautiful according to my friends that watched it. So that's definitely another movie that I will be watching. Well, actually, I think I'll be watching it tomorrow.
Oh,
I think I,
really?
I think I will. Fatherhood and In the Heights is definitely something that Fast and Furious, of course, is something
Oh,
that
that would be amazing. And you can tell us a bit on Monday what if
I
you
will
like
do
in the
that.
opinion.
I will most definitely do that. So yeah, fatherhood is definitely something that I want to watch as well. And listen, if you have watched any of these films, we want you to let us know, right?
Of course, we would like to hear like if did you watch it or did you like it or not or give us any, but not spoilers, just some
Not spoilers.
clues.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
and I think that can help people as well, right? So if somebody's going to watch a movie and if you think that it's not really worth watching, or you think, oh my goodness, no, you have to watch this, if you let us know, that's going to help so many people out there as well. So make sure that you let us know, so that we can help each other out. It's about helping each other out. I think that's what's most important. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And also another movie that is coming on 30th of June is Zola.
Zola, I've heard
Yeah.
about it, but I don't know what it's about. Do you have any idea?
It's the first, it's the first even film to be used to credit passing on the tweets by.
Yeah,
So
right. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So I've heard about this. So this is a story that was based on tweets, right? This was a story that was based on tweets, basically, and I think that's very different, and I think that's going to be very interesting as well, huh?
yeah, like I could imagine that, like based on tweets. That's
Yeah. That's going
that,
to be very, very interesting. It's going to be something different. So I think we can't judge it before we've watched it. So after
yeah,
we watch it, we'll judge it definitely. So
yeah, of
yeah,
course.
thank you for sharing, Andrea. I think it's about time that we head on over to a little break. But when we come back, we will have so much more interesting things to talk about. It is also the final few minutes of the show. We have a lot we want to talk about. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio.
Again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. An inquest. They'd ask me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, has how much it's changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense,
They can't accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Or you didn't do very well, and they get upset. And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young. Well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, he'd say to me, "You had one to forget." That's it.
Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, yeah, that's the real fact of the matter, yeah.
He'd say to me, "You had one to forget. Get over it." And that was it. So I'd dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. An inquest. They'd ask me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much a lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid, I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
The Chat Trap.
Welcome back to the show. A very good day to you. How are you doing? This is, of course, the Chat Trap on Relax Radio.
Hello, welcome back, guys. I'm so happy to have you here, like in this Friday that I'm not gonna see you until Monday. That's so sad, but I'm really glad that we have an amazing week with pretty good topics that we talked.
Oh, we talked about so many different things, and I think everything would have been very informational, and it would have helped you in some way. But even if it did, or even if it did, go right ahead and let us know what you think, what we can do, or what we can incorporate into the show so that you like what we're talking about. Make sure that you do that by calling us up on 07852473473, or you could very simply join us. And if everybody wants to have conversation, right? Everybody wants to be able to talk to somebody, to share your thoughts, your opinions, to have a good debate with regards to any topic. And I think that's why we are here. We are there for you. That is why we are there for you 24/7, 365. So please feel free to call us up anytime. Feel free to, connect with us. Even if the show is not happening, this is a live show. But if you're watching it after and we're not actually here, then go right ahead and feel free to connect with us on our social media. That is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. You can talk to us anytime and we will respond to you as soon as possible. If you have something you want to share, if there's something you want to tell us, go ahead and send us a message on our social media. Now, with that being said, Andrea, it's about the time that we head on out of here, right? But before we do, I want to talk about something a little inspirational. I want to talk about, I actually want to look at something, okay? I want to ask you a question. To get into that topic of discussion, I want to ask you a question. Do you think we human beings learn from mistakes?
From the States.
From mistakes?
Oh,
If we do something wrong, do
yeah.
we learn?
I think so. I think most of the people that, well, not everyone, but at least when I do a mistake, I try to don't repeat that again because I know how they feel, so I don't want to get back to that. So I always try to do my best to don't repeat that mistake. Either it's something that I did to someone or I did to myself.
I absolutely agree with you. And that's why I wanted to bring it up, right? A lot of people think that doing mistakes or doing something wrong is something that we should avoid. But I want to tell you that as long as we're alive, as long as we exist, we make mistakes consciously or unconsciously. Sometimes we do things without thinking, and they turn out to be mistakes. We do things thinking, and that can be a mistake. Like that, all of us kind of tend to do mistakes. It's just normal. You can be the
Yeah,
best person on the world in the world. You can be an amazing person. You're still going to do mistakes. But just
yeah,
like Andrea said, I think what's most important is to kind of learn from that mistake.
yeah,
It's so important
completely.
to.
Because I think that most of the people think that mistakes we should avoid them and never do that. I think we need to normalize that mistakes are normal and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to everyone. Just either it's a silly thing, it's gonna happen. And as you say, learn from that because we do everything every day, learn about something, either just to press a button, but we learn. And mistakes always gonna happen. And don't feel bad at all about it.
Totally agree with you, Andrea. Mistakes just happen. It happens to everybody, but the important thing is you learn from it, right? Now, with that being said, I want to say that I don't know if this is going to be kind of controversial and if you're not going to agree with me, but I feel like making mistakes or having failures in life is just a part of the journey, right? If you want to get somewhere, it's just going to happen, especially if you're out of your comfort zone, if you're not used to what you're doing, if it's all something new to you, you are bound to make a mistake because you're new at it. You don't know how things work because you're doing something out of your comfort zone. And I don't know, for me, especially in the journey to like accomplishing your dreams or in the journey to accomplishing your goals, I feel like sometimes, if you do a mistake, you know that you're on the right track, right? You know that you're
Yeah.
on the path to success at least, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, if you don't make a mistake, you are gonna feel, you're gonna have that sensation that, okay, what if I do this and everything is gonna get wrong? No, like, it's important to make mistake. I think, as you say, it's something that's gonna happen. It's in our journey. Imagine a life without mistakes. We just not gonna get like focused on something because we're gonna say, oh, it's gonna be bad, it's gonna be good. So just leave this.
Absolutely, I agree with you as well. So, what I want to tell everybody is that making mistakes is making mistakes in itself is a part of the process, but if you just make mistakes, you're not learning. You need to learn from those mistakes. Make sure that you don't repeat it again. Learn something, and every time you make a new mistake, say, okay, maybe this is something that I can avoid next time. And it's good that it happened today and not tomorrow. Have that attitude, have that positive attitude, and I'm sure that you can be amazing at what you do. Also, the other thing that I want to let everybody know is, while we're on the topic, it's important to learn from other people's mistakes as well. Say if there's somebody else that's doing the same thing that you want to do, and something happens to that person, maybe look at that mistake and say, oh, that's going to happen if I do this, so I'm going to avoid this path entirely. So I think the thing about mistakes is it's just going to happen. Mistakes are just going to happen. It's unavoidable. But what's important is that you learn from your own mistakes and you learn from other people's mistakes as well, right?
Yeah, you take a pretty good point, because sometimes we say, okay, this is just gonna happen in this person, but without realizing that that could happen to you as well. You said a
Absolutely.
pretty good point. I completely agree with you.
All right, with that being said, we've had such amazing conversation. I want to say, honestly, I want to say a big thank you to every single one of you that joined in. We had such amazing conversation with so many of you. A lot of you had different ideas about the whole superhero conversation, and I'm so glad that you liked it. I'm so glad that a lot of you loved that conversation. I'm so glad that you're listening, that you're tuned in. You know what? We are always there for you. Our ears are always open to listen to you. So make sure that if even later on, if you want to talk to us, you can most definitely do so by dropping us a message on our social media, by sending us an inbox message on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or I'm missing one. What am I missing?
Yeah.
Facebook. Or even the app. Okay, you can most definitely connect with us. Also, if you download the app, it's super simple, because when you go to the top of the app, there's a phone icon, and if you click that phone icon, you could directly get in touch with us, which is absolutely amazing. So if you want to share constructive criticism with us, or if you just want to tell us how you enjoyed the show, whatever it is, make sure that you connect with us, make sure that you call us, because we have so much love for all of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. And same as you, I'm really happy to have this amazing audience and have you here to talk like Monday to Friday about this amazing topic that I will never thought about it, about heroes. That was really amazing. Thank you so much for everyone that connected and looking at us and just have fun.
Absolutely. Have fun. It is the weekend tomorrow. Party hard, but party safe. I love how I went to party straight. Listen, we're not still done with the COVID pandemic. Just have fun, enjoy, be with your friends, just be as safe as possible, not just for your benefit, but for the benefit of all those around you as well. It's a social responsibility that you have to be safe. So make sure that you be as safe as possible, and just enjoy the weekend. Okay, use it as a time to recharge, to get ready for Monday. With that being said, we will see you on Monday. Ooh, I can't wait for the show on Monday, because we have some interesting things to talk to you about. So you can talk to me and Andrea on Monday. Until then, bye bye.
Thank you so much. See you.
Thank you. We love you.